Zeller? No, he's getting married soon. He's not coming.
He is?
He's getting married at Hanukkah time, yeah. We hope. New York. But she's moving here, obviously. New York, Staten Island, yeah. But I am after Sukkot. I am scheduled to start preparing Baba with a chavrusa here in the morning. It's a guy. I don't know. It's going to work out. The guy is going to wants to learn Yerushalmi with me. The dorm counselor here in the yeshiva, and we'll see. Either I'll be better prepared or less better. I'm a little bit nervous about Zikin because it's supposed to be different than the rest of the Yerushalmi, and there's a lot. I have more scoring on it, so it can take more time to prepare. I have it. Okay. We are on Daf Lamed. Lamed Alpha Base at the top. Lamed Alpha Base at the top. Page 62, right at the top. Okay. Now this is going. Actually, it's a very, very interesting sugya, but really, it's better if you had a board. All right, maybe we'll just use paper. What? Yeah, I know we'll get to the next. So it's not. Oh, it's worth it. Okay. Anyway. Okay, it's really not much to chart out. I just wanted to make one drawing which should serve us most of the evening, which is that you have a 30-day lapse. There's a 30-day interval. Here I'm going to put day 1 and day 30. I'm going this way. Now there are two possibilities. Ruvain is Makadesh. We'll tell him Rishon. The Rishon is Makadesh on day 1 to take effect on after day 30 in one of two ways. Scenario A is that La'achar Shloshim, and scenario B is Me'achshav, from now and La'achar Shloshim. And then in the middle of those 30 days, you have number 2 comes. And he's Mekadesh in the middle of those 2 days. And by the end of the 30 days, he may either have died or divorced her, or may not have died and divorced her. And how long that goes on, we do not know. So basically, and later on, we're going to have 3, 4, 5, 6 other people. Okay, so basically, we have day 1 to 30, and number 1, this takes place either after 30 altogether, or Mi'achshav La'achar Shloshim. In the meantime, you have number 2 who comes in the middle. Okay? Guy number 2 who comes in the middle. So it says, for this quote from the Mishnah, in the case of number 2 dies within the 30 days, right? Girsha, or divorces within 30 days. Number 1's Kiddushin takes effect after the 30th day. Why? Because number 2 is gone. He died or divorced, right? So number 2 is gone within the 30, so at the 30, number 1's Kiddushin can take effect, right?
Why did number 2 take effect to begin with? Right. Number 1 had a Kiddushin that was Mikan Shloshim.
Well, right now we're talking about La'achar Shloshim. We'll tell that case A, La'achar Shloshim, okay? So, later on we'll talk about the case B. So, Meis La'achar Shloshim, What if the number 2 only died after 30 days are up? The lo Yerushalmi did not divorce her. Lo chol Kiddushin Rishon, Kiddushin Rishon did not take place. Now that means, even let's say if number 2 divorces her or dies on day 31, then Kiddushin number 1 never takes effect. Since on day 30, number 2 was married to the girl, even though he dies immediately after day 30. On day 31 he dies. Nevertheless, that prevents number 1's Kiddushin from ever taking place. More is going to discuss that at some length, okay? Hodor the Tani, that's how what you learn. Bechia said, Kol Tanai Shnis Kayem, any Tanai, any condition which is fulfilled, Ava Pisha Batal Achar Mikain, either subsequently it is cancelled, Harez Mukudeshes, then that's valid. And this is since the second guy died in promptly, so therefore that's okay. Anytime the condition was not valid at the time that the condition was supposed to take effect, meaning on day 30 he was still alive, number 2, even though it was subsequently fulfilled, and she's not married. Rabbi Yavo said in Rabbi Yochanan, Harezu oilo lachar shloshim. Okay, similar case, except we're talking about korbanos. A guy made a korban lachar shloshim, so it's like it's not me'achshav lachar shloshim. Made this animal korban after 30 days. Okay? What? Not 30 days. Today, right? You said today on the 3rd day of right. You just made that. It said it's going to take place 30 days hence. And he sold the animal within 30 days. I raised him b'chura. It's a valid sale because the animal's hayet hektish. If he was makdish yam for another purpose in the 30 days, so hektish, it's valid hektish. Chazav v'locha b'tosh shloshim yom. And now, if you bought the animal back within the 30 days, hektish ola. Then it becomes hektish as an ola on the 30th day. Lachar shloshim yom. Now here it becomes a question. I'm going to learn this like the Yerushalmi. Everybody else changes the girsa left and right, but the Yerushalmi leaves the girsa basically the way it is, except he punctuates slightly creatively. It says lachar shloshim, so he learns this like a question. Lachar shloshim lo chale kekdesh ola. What about if he takes back the animal only after day 30? Do I say like marriage, that just like the marriage cannot take place on the 30th day, so it never takes effect, so too if the ola the animal cannot become an ola on the 30th day, it also never becomes an ola? Says more, no, lo dami oila l'isha. And oila and isha are not comparable. Okay? Now, Noor Samech explains why not. He calls this a clear svara, beautiful svara be'ira, he calls this. Says, what's the difference between a woman and a korban? He says a woman, her marriage is not in her hands. Her marriage is solely in the hands of whoever is married to her, right? So therefore, if he dies or divorces her, she goes free. If he doesn't choose to die or divorce her, she remains married, right? So therefore, on day 30, if she's married to number 2, so then that means that as far as number 1 is concerned, she's forever out of reach. The next day she became in reach, it doesn't matter. That condition was focused on day 30, and therefore if on day 30 nothing could occur, as far as we're concerned, as if it forever nothing can occur. But by an animal is always subject to purchase, to sale, right? To redemption, right? And therefore, since an animal is subject to purchase, to sale, redemption, by the owner. In other words, a woman is not. She can't do anything to get herself out of marriage. But the owner of an animal can do things to get an animal out of hektish, get an animal out of a sale, and so on and so forth. So therefore, even if it's on day 30, the animal is still sold to somebody else. But the original owner wants to make it hektish, knows that he has the capacity, and knew he had the capacity to redeem it if he just paid enough money, right? So therefore, it's as if he's not, let's call it like this, even though it's only an analogy. He doesn't give up hope of making it hektish. And therefore, even if he buys it back, say, 2 days later, at that point it becomes hektish. Okay? So basically it's the difference between biyodo and not biyodo. Which is within the guy's power even if day 30 passes and he wasn't able to fulfill the condition could be fulfilled subsequently. When it's not within his power, such as a woman, so then in that case, if on day 30 wasn't in his capacity to do so, it always remains beyond his capacity, and the marriage never takes effect. Okay, that's a nice svara. Or Sameach likes it, pats himself on the back for it. So he says that it's a very nice svara, seriously speaking, because it's Tanai, of course, has to do with your own das. And your das is shaped by whatever you can do. And since you can't affect somebody else's marriage, so therefore that puts her beyond you, and of course your condition is nullified by that. But you can affect somebody else's ownership, and therefore that would be in fact be a case in which you would expect your condition to be fulfilled. Okay? So it says more madam yo ish olola. Where is the case where a woman and an ola are similar? Interesting how long case here. So it says more, where is a woman like a cow? Oh, that's not what it means. But where is a woman like a korban? So it says more, Chiyah Barada said tipoter shemeis hasheni. It's a case where guy number two died within the 30 days. But he left a brother. Vavleach. He left a brother. So he left the brother. What is she on day 30? She's a skuka. She's a yavama, right? She's under zika. Mikayim when she's kuka liyibum lo chola le kedusha rishon. Since she's zokuk liyibum, the second one, first one's kiddushin are not chal upon her, but says Zor Sameach. The halach is, of course, even though we paskin as kuka cannot contract marriage lo shuk, theoretically, whenever she gets out of zika, she can be married to this fellow, right? And therefore, and the way it works, he proves that if a guy can't marry this kuka, and he wasn't supposed to, when she does chalitza retroactively, she becomes muteris to the guy. So, and I don't know exactly how that works, but I don't even know if we have to go as far as Sameach takes it. Well, what we can say is that skuka is more, since skuka is not the same level of isur, not the same level of prohibition, so it's as if she has some heterotim on day 30. In other words, using our Moshe before, he doesn't give up hope. So in that case, it would be like an ola. By a woman who's fully married, it's beyond his bounds, number one's bounds, so therefore his tanai is not fulfilled, it's considered eternally to be canceled. But when she's only a skuka on day 30, not fully married to somebody else, so then his tanai has still the capacity in his mind of being fulfilled, and therefore, if let's say she gets chalitza on day 31, so then the next day she reverts to being married to number one. Okay?
Number one is always waiting in the wings, so to speak.
Well, not according to.
There's no brother.
Yeah.
So number two dies.
Yes, then automatically in that day there. Right. No. Right, it's waiting in the wings. Storm it. Right. Storm it. Okay? Madam Yolish, on the other hand, what's the case when Ola is like a woman? When Ola is like a woman, and therefore, even if it does take place on day 30, it never takes place. So Mitzani says a very interesting case. He says, you actually were makdish an animal, which is a balas mum. So what kind of hekdish is it? What? What kind of hekdish is it? Bedek habayis, right. So bedek habayis means, what does it mean? It's bedek habayis. It means it's always, you can always redeem it. No matter what, right? If you sell an animal, you have to buy it back. You have to entice the owner to sell it back to you, right? If you're makdish an animal, which is a tamim, you have to wait till it gets a mum. But an animal which is a baal mum, to begin with, you can redeem it any time you want, right? So if you didn't redeem it on day 30, that means you yourself counteracted your tonight, right? In other words, you had the capacity to redeem it before day 30 and make sure that on day 30 it's susceptible to the original hektish, right? But you were makdish it to a bedek habayis, so you didn't redeem it by day 30, so that means that you yourself canceled your original condition. So that means that even if you buy it back on day 31, the original kedusha doesn't take effect on it. In that way, it's ironic because, and what happens is that a woman who's totally beyond your reach, and a balas mum animal which is totally within your reach. In both those cases, the condition that the Kiddushin should take place after Lachar Shloshim is canceled if the animal or the woman is not available on day 30 itself. But in an intermediate case, or a case of an animal which you made the kadosh b'kedushas korban, to be a korban, or you sold the animal, where you do not have full control, nor do you lack complete control. In that case, I said that even after day 30, once you get it back, at that point the t'nai takes effect. So you see clearly how das b'nei adam can affect the t'nai on both ends, right? According to the Or Samech's interpretation of Gemara. If something is beyond my bounds completely on day 30, so even if it comes into my bounds, into my jurisdiction later on, the Kiddushin of day 30 does not take effect. If so it's completely within my control, and I don't exercise it by day 30, even I do afterwards, then my Kiddushin doesn't take effect. Or Kiddushin doesn't take effect. If it's something which is somewhat within my control, but not completely within my control, and ever perhaps on day 30 I was still working at getting it back, in that case, if I get it back sometime subsequently, at that point, the condition of the subsequent Kedusha or Kiddushin takes effect. That's the way what the Gemara is saying. Which, again, is Or Samech's prat. Everybody else is different pshatim, but with this we didn't have to change a single girsa. Okay, and everybody else changes like crazy. Rabbi Zira asked in front of Rabbi Zira. He said, I don't understand. Tamanat Amar, elsewhere you say, meaning all over you say, that when you consecrate something to the heavens by verbally, it's as if you already gave it over to a commoner. So here on day 1, when you said that this house should be hektish 30 days hence, let it be considered to be as if it's already hektish, right? Now, the Gemara, obviously, that's a shocking question. I'm a little bit astounded at Rabbi Bun Bar Chia's question. Rabbi Zir gives the obvious answer. He says, how can you compare it to? It's apples and oranges. When we say then when he says and make a carbon, it's as if he already gave it over. When he says now, but what do you say over here? After 30 days. So when does it become a hektish? Only 30 days hence, right? But here, where am I? What he said after 30 days. Rabbi Yochanan said, the opposite case. You said, let this be oil for the next 30 days. The next 30 days want it to be an oil. What happens after 30 days? There's not a Bavli, and I can't imagine the Bavli ever saying this. But it says, after 30 days, poof, not oil anymore. It's no longer korban. Okay? Very good question. Funny you should ask that. Milos amai. What do you do? What's the halacha about Milo? Rabbi Yochanan amai milos abura. During those 30 days, it's milos doraisa. It's a shocking concept. So, how can it be milos doraisa? It's very strange. If it was milos doraisa, then after 30 days, how does it go scot-free? Which is your question, right? So the Ribaz says, he brings down an interesting one. He says the Gemara Ksuvas, Yerushalmi Kiddushin, Daf Nun Amud Aleph, Perek Ches Aloch Yud, says that Rabbi Yochanan there says actually that. Well, first let me backtrack. Let me give the Ribaz initials for it and then tell you what he says. He says that this was as if you say that this animal is hektish, is chulin, is hektish for the next 3 days, and if I don't sacrifice it during the next 3 days, I'm afraid that it's chulin. Retroactively it'll become chulin. So that's when the Mila falls off after 30 days. So why is it Mila during the 30 days? So he brings down this Yerushalmi Kiddushin, which obviously we learned. Yerushalmi Kiddushin says, I don't remember it either, but Yerushalmi Kiddushin says that if a gizbar has the right to grab something, to do tfisa, even though he wasn't taifisid, during the time that the gizbar has the right to do tfisa, there's Mila. Okay? Since the gizbar, since the treasury agents, the base of the mikdash, have the right to grab it, so it's Me'ilah Not because it's true hektish at the moment. It's not. But because there's a potential monetary gain for the hektish at this point, and you're depriving them of that potential monetary gain, you're depriving them of the right of tfisa, that in of itself is considered to be an act of milah.
So that's called haroi lamila.
Right, called roy lamila, right, that's what it is. So basically, since hektish could grab it, even though it's not really kaddish, that's enough to make, to cause milah to take effect. Now, of course, this is very controversial svara. So Rabbi Zia and Rabbi Hila, Rabbi Yonamer, they both said, milah is a suffix. The milah is a suffix. It depends if the hektish pans out or not. If the hektish would pan, since if the hektish pan out would be milah, so then it's milah. But if the hektish wouldn't pan out, it wouldn't be milah. So it's a suffix. So therefore, you can't necessarily say that there's milah involved. Okay, next case. Harei mukdash li shloshim yoyim. You said to a woman, you're mukdash to me for the next 30 days. Harei is mukdash. It's a vow Kiddushin for all eternity. Not just for the next 30 days. Says more ma bein hektish, ma bein isha. What's the difference between the hektish and a woman? Right? Hektish, you said, it terminates after 30 days. The woman, you're saying, it's eternal. How come? What's the chiluk? So it says, well, I'll tell you, matzino hektish, yetziblo pidyon, blo matzino isha, yetziblo pidyon. We never found we found hektish going out without pidyon, and we never found what? Yeah. I'm sorry. Matzino hektish yetziblo pidyon, blo matzino isha, yetziblo get. We never found a woman go out without a get. So therefore, the hektish can terminate after 30 days. Now, the Ritbah says a nice little vort here. He says that by woman the pshat is that forget it. Anyway, it says nice pshat, but it's not important for right now. So it doesn't really add anything for our purpose right now. So anyway, so it says Gemara. Now, where's this true? Says Now the truth is an amazing question. I don't understand why Yerushalmi is asking, because explicitly on Daf Chavtes on base a couple of blad ago, and this I did remember because only a couple of blad ago, we found a case of hektish sheitze below pidyon. The Gemara had said back there that if you have a korban which was found and you're not sure what it was, and the case in which we allowed you to take the korban out of the hektish and make it chulin. So, but the truth is that there was really, I'm sorry, not that case. That was a case where it was a Tanai Basin. Before it said b'mezid, if you take an animal which is hektish and you make a chulin, that's a valid desecration of the korban. Been on Gemara Daf Chavtes. So what you could say, I could answer like this: that they'd say about with an avera who's done b'mezid and he's committed an avera by doing it. We're trying to find a case where hektish is yotzei below pidyon without an avera. Okay? So it says, we find such a case, Rabbi Shimon. So Rabbi Shimon says, nichnasin v'lo nosnin. This case a case in Erchin, and it's a case of a yovel. And the yovel comes, and a field was consecrated by an individual to hektish. He didn't redeem it before yovel occurs. So in Yovel, what happens is the Kohanim get that field, right? Since the owner never redeemed it, it goes to the Kohanim. And Reb Shimon says that the Kohanim get the field even though they don't pay hektish. It comes their regular field even though they don't pay hektish. So we see according to Rabbi Shimon, hektish goes out without pidyon, right? It leaves hektish and becomes the property of the Kohanim even without any redemption whatsoever. So it says, well, that's nice, but that's only according to Rabbi Shimon. Rabbanan hold the Kohanim have to pay. So I have a case where according to everybody hektish goes out without pidyon, but stay mikneh. In a field which is where a person bought a field and was makdish it. And the law is if you bought a field b'zman yovel noy, when there is a yovel, if you bought a field and were makdish it, so it's not yours being makdish beyond yovel. So in yovel reverts to the original owner. For those years in the interim between yovelus, it belongs to hektish. When yovel comes, it reverts to the original owner without any pidyon. right? Because it's his, right? Yovel goes back to him. So therefore, here we have a case where Hekdesh leaves without pidyon. Okay? Says the Gemara, another cool dichotomy. This you get for next 30 days. Ain't a get crease. It's not a get crease. It doesn't sever the relationship. It's not a valid get. Okay, that's the sever. That's only true. This is amazing. It's only if you married her with money that a get for 30 days. I'm sorry. That if you married her with money, then we say that that you can be mukudeshes for that mukudeshes for 30 days is mukudeshes forever. Going back to that Gemara, that if you married a woman for 30 days, you married forever. That's where you married her with money. Avan kitcher b'shtar, you married with the documents. So you only let the star works by Kiddushin from Gerushin. So that my Gerushin and Mukureshes, just like by Gerushin she's not divorced, by Kiddushin and Mukudeshes, so by Kiddushin she's not married at all. I have to explain it. It's an amazing concept. We said before, you marry a woman for 30 days, she's married forever. If you divorce a woman for 30 days, she's not divorced at all. So now what about Shtar Kiddushin? So you say Shtar Kiddushin is not learned from Kesef Kiddushin, but if you marry for 30 days, it's married forever. But rather, it's learned from Gerushin. And just like a divorce for 30 days doesn't work, right? So to the Kiddushin for 30 days, when it's written into a Shtar, it doesn't work. Now, I want to give it a little bit of a svara, although I don't know if what I'm about to say is true, but it sounds good, which is that Kiddushin, money is divisible, right? So theoretically, you can go buy a woman for 30 days, right? A shtar is not divisible. A shtar either works or doesn't work, right? Because you can rent a woman for 30 days, so you pay her for 30 days. But a shtar is either works or doesn't work. So now, as a result of that, we say, well, but since by Kiddushin Kesef, money is divisible, so therefore it works. The thing is, once you make a woman, it's forever. But you try to make it work for 30 days, and work for 30 days, just once it works for 30 days, it remains forever. But by a shtar, since the shtar is not divisible inherently, right? Right? There's no such thing as the dividing up in the shtar, because you don't write time limits in the shtar. It's not that type of shtar. So therefore, it's not shaykh to division, right? Therefore, if you try to make it for 30 days, it doesn't work at all, right? So that which works for 30 days can go on and then work forever. But that which can't work for 30 days doesn't work at all. That's basically what we're saying here, okay? So, but even if you don't like my svara, the Gemara is fascinating. A shtar Kiddushin is derived from shtar gittin, and not only from Kiddushin Kesef. So, we're makish havayali itzia, we draw a parallel between marriage and divorce, even where that trumps a parallel to marriage. Okay? Again, that's why a shtar doesn't work for Kiddushin for 30 days, just like a get doesn't work for 30 days, even though Kesef Kiddushin does work for 30 days. Okay?
The shtar
And beyond.
says something about like mutter
What?
It says, the get says mutter, the cheese, mutter.
Yeah, for the next 30 days.
So it's just for 30 days.
But it doesn't work. That's what he wanted to do, yeah.
I don't understand how they want to do that to take that. She sees, whatever. As a result of this.
The Gemara would have learned it tonight. It's like a yo-yo. Bounce back. I mean, the word says it's not creases, you're right, but that's the word, but Habmi, it's a yo-yo. Okay. Ravo B'Shem Rabbi Yonah said, yeah, sure. Yeah. Right, for creases. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Says Gemara, Ravo B'Shem Rabbi Yonah said, this should be an ola after 30 days. Mechora to shloshim yeina mechora. If you sold it within 30 days, it's not a valid sale. Now, the Rashba says it's direct contradiction to Rabbi Yevorim, Rabbi Yochanan on Lamed Alpha and Beis, where he said you can't sell within 30 days, and it is a valid sale.
The problem isn't in the safe, the problem is in the crease.
No, and the creases, yeah.
So that's what they're...
But it has to be a safer creases.
But what we're really working on is not all the elements afterwards together. We're only learning the safe one. So that part is really unaffected by the creases.
That's what I would have said, and you would have said, but that's not what the Yerushalmi is saying.
It's amazing.
Yes. It is a remarkable thing. Right. You're right. The crease, that's good. You have to learn. It's good. You're adding to the Chiddush of Yerushalmi to a large extent. That we actually, in the creases, so to speak, invert the creases. Right. That's right. That's be get star gomer. Right. Okay. So very good. If you told within 30 days it's not valid, now there's direct contradiction where we learned on Lamed Alpha base, and the Rashba says the sugyas contradict each other because Rabbi Yochanan there on Lamed Alpha base said you can sell during those 30 days or be makdish during those 30 days. The Shari Teretz Yisrael wants to change the sugyas over here, so it won't be a contradiction. He wants to say, this is where he said me'achshav. Here we first learned me'achshav according to Shari Teretz Yisrael. When he said me'achshav l'achar shloshim, then you can't sell during those 30 days. But when he said l'achar shloshim, then you could sell during those 30 days. Okay? However, it seems that he's not correct from the I'm not sure. Let's go on. So, but this is not the end of the story. If he can't sell during those 30 days, why did he say it should only take place after 30? Regardless of whether he said me'achshav or not. So it says, I'll tell you why. Interesting. Really, the ownership now, immediately, is that of Hektish. The animal's owned by Hektish. So what was he leaving for himself? The animal's owned by Hektish right now. So he's leaving for himself is the right of the shearings and work for the next 30 days. Basically, it's the difference we have all over Shas. As more will say itself immediately, the difference between Kinyan Guf and Kinyan Peros. The title of the sheep is already Hektish's. I have rights of usage for the next 30 days. So that's why I can't sell it or be makdish it, but I can use it for the next 30 days.
Isn't that also the
Not if I retain that. Right. That retention works. Okay? Similarly, Tlosh min karkaze. This is not hektish, obviously. You said to a guy, pluck fruit from the ground here. And here, again, according to Shari Teretz, so it should say me'achshav. She'igna l'chol l'achar that it should work for after 30 days. M'chorato shloshim, if you sell the field during 30, it's not a valid sale. If you consecrate it, it's not mekudash. Light if you shloshim. So that's the case. What was the Chiddush saying that only after 30 days? L'shai lo'achilas peros. Kinyan Guf belongs immediately to the second guy. He wants to retain for himself the right to eat fruit for the next 30 days. Which again, but that means that he can't sell it to anybody else or be makdish it because the Kinyan Guf already belongs to number 2 who's coming 30 days from now. Okay? It's like, I guess living in a house after you've made a closed on it, right? So that would be the same idea. Okay? Nowadays, I don't think you do, right? You don't live in a house after close it.
Yeah. You just have to pay rent.
Pay rent, okay. So he is trying to do it without and remain rent-free. That's basically what he's trying to do. Okay? Helach selazeh. Now, the similar idea, except this is with money. That makes a difference. Before somebody points out the Gilin Ephraim. Yeah, he says this case we just learned is where you told him make a kinyan chazaka, klosh mina karka is a kinyan chazaka. Now you said pay me money, or I paid you money. here's money, sheiknili avdecha, in order that I should acquire your slave, lachar shloshim, after 30 days. Now, this is a very cool case, actually. In this case, we have a machlokas. Previous case, we have no machlokas. Again, because it's kinyan chazaka, so it's immediate. But all that's left is the other guy gets to eat the fruit for the next 3 days. But here, it's money. So now we have to find machlokas. Now, the halacha is if I beat my eved and I kill him, then I'm potter, right? If somebody else beats him and kills him, it's chai misa, right? So that's where it's called din yom yomayim, right? If he lingers for a day or two and dies, then I'm potter, right? So that's who has that halacha, that special kula. So each Taitani, Yerushalmi Yomayim. Some say the first guy has the halacha of Yom Yomayim. These Taitani, some say Hasheni Yom Yomayim. Second guy who's acquired 30 days of rent, he already now during those 30 days has the right to not be killed if he kills the Eved by beating him. Each Taitani, those who learn Zevazena Yom Yomayim. Neither of them have the right of Yom Yomayim. Each Taitani, those who learn Zevazena Yom Yomayim. Both of them have Yom Yomayim, so every single possible shita. Mad the Mariu says that Rishon Yom Yomayim, that the first guy gets the right of Yom Yomayim, umeis tachas yodo. It says if the Eved dies under his hand, and we learn that means the hand which is now in control. Who's in control? The first guy. Mad the Marasheni Yom Yomayim says the second guy has that halacha is kikasbohu. Because it says it's his money. And whose money is it? Second guy's. Because the second guy already paid his money for it. Now the Yerushalmi says, it's amazing, Yerushalmi, he says, the Bibli only says that where the second guy said, I'm buying you a me'achshav ulachar shloshim. But the Yerushalmi is clearly, even he didn't say me'achshav. Yeah, and your kinyan actually only takes effect 30 days hence. Yet nevertheless, since you paid your money for it already, it's already considered to be the second guy's vis-a-vis the halach of Yom Yomayim. Right? It's an amazing concept. Okay? Even though the first guy can renege, he can give back the money and say, forget, I'm not giving it to you. But nevertheless, right now, Kikas Bahu is the second guy's.
Where was the other physically? Was he in
First guy, by the first guy. Sure.
But the second guy came and...
Yeah, right. Okay?
Well, the Kesef made the king.
But even, no, but the king doesn't take effect till day 30. He killed him on day 15. Nevertheless, he's part. Okay? That's a big chiddush. Ma'anamar Zeb Yom Yomayim, he said both Yom Yomayim. Because we learn both psukim. Harishon has been meis tachas yodo. Hasheni kikaspo, we're makel based on that. Ma'anamar Zeb is either trait gets you off talk. Ma'anamar Zeb is Yom Yomayim, he said neither of them are off talk, is because you need both conditions. Harishon train will be kaspo. The first one doesn't meet the condition of his money. Hasheni eno meis tachas yodo. The second one doesn't make the criterion of meis tachas yodo. Okay? New case. Actually, you're just going on the Mishnah. Bas Kohen Yisrael. You have a Bas Kohen who marries Yisrael as number 2. Well, actually, I'm just going to explain. Sorry. Bas Kohen Yisrael talking about Truma. Iska Tayin, that's the center of Mishnah. The Bas Kohen Yisrael marries, eats Truma. East Tayin, those who are low Torah Truma, she can't eat Truma. Amar Rabbi Eliezer said, Mandam Torah Truma, he says she can eat Truma, is Kasheni Kohen. In other words, number 1 is not a Kohen. Number 2 is a Kohen. During the day she's married to number 2, she can eat Truma, because she's the wife of a Kohen. Even though after 3 days she might revert to number 1, right now, what is she? Wife of a Kohen, right? Mandamar loto chaba truma. He who said she can eat truma is b'shein sheni kohen. His number 1 is the kohen. That's nice, but as long as she's married to number 2, she can't eat truma, right? Says the Gemara, me'achshav l'achar shlo. Period. New case. Now this case is also in the Bibli, but nowhere near the extent of the Yerushalmi. Me'achshav l'achar shloshim yom. Okay, now we're up to case B. Till now we're talking about case A, where he said l'achar shloshim yom should take effect, right? What if he says me'achshav l'achar shloshim? from now till after 100 days, after 30 days. Oh, in that case, Rav Moshe Yochanan said, very famous quote, Afilu Kiddushin Mea Toifsim Ba. Even 100 people during those 30 days can chap a Ryan and be Makadisher. If it's La'achar Shloshim, then one guy can be Makadisher during those 30 days. But if it's Mikanu La'achar Shloshim, then 100 guys can come. It's an amazing concept. Where it says why? It says Rav Moshe Yochanan said, Afilu Kiddushin Mea Toifsim Ba. Rabbi Lezer said, L'chein tzricha. You should know that this is the Chiddush. For this we need to say, Afilu Kitra Hasheni Kiddushin Gemurin. Even if the second guy came and said, I want it to be complete, whatever the first guy left over, I'm chapping a Rhine. Nevertheless, a third and a fourth guy and a fifth guy can come afterwards. Says more, Vikendo sign? How can this be? Says more, Rabbi Yitzhak bar Tavle Boiku Rabbi Lezer, Marashach, I understand. Marashach Kona bar Rishon Kona, whatever the first guy acquired, he acquired, Vasheni Shashar, Sheni Bova Goimer. The rest of it, the second guy came and completed. What is there left over? How can you say, I feel I can get up to 100. How does this work? So says the Maharam, so he said, he retorted to him kind of, curtly. Said, Chiesh Nafshach Ba'arayas? You think logic applies to Arayas? Said, no, it says, it said, you think it's Miman Nafshach? Let's just say, Miman Nafshach. It's either the first or the second, but there can't be a third. It says, no Miman Nafshach Ba'arayas. Why not, says the Mar? Says, Ma'al Kedoin. Why is that? So he says, very interesting story. Yerushalmi's original story. Kol Isha She'eino Knuyo L'Odam Echad. A woman who's not completely acquired to one individual, Afilu Kiddushin Mea Toifsim Ba. Even 100 Kiddushin can grab onto it. When he said, case A, where number one said La'achar Shloshim, she's not married at all until after 30 days, number one. So therefore, number two makes Kiddushin Gemurim, and there can't be a number three. When number two, Kiddushin Gemurim fell off, maybe she go back to number one. But right now, she's Kiddushin Gemurim to number two. Okay? Where number one made Me'achshav La'achar Shloshim, we made an incomplete Kiddushin. By definition, in that case, he made this woman like, the only analogy I can give to comes to mind is like an irrational number. Or is it something where the Kiddushin of this woman is not susceptible to any precise limitation? It goes on and on and on. And the Yerushalmi uses the language which is more cryptic than the Yerushalmi, because he says he makes it like a row of bricks. It's like a row of bricks so you can constantly add on. And this woman's now become something where each person, it's like we all said, Kiddushin has been tampered with and been made in this kind of Me'achshav, which is incomplete and constantly building during those 30 days. So everybody gets on an incomplete in a trajectory. And therefore each person gets in the middle of the trajectory, and each person is part of the trajectory, and nobody has a complete Kiddushin on her. Okay? I don't know if I've made it any clearer, but that's what the Gemara is saying. Have I made it any clearer by saying that? Not really. Okay. I tried. You understand what the Gemara is saying, right? I'm not just...
It's not a full marriage, so each one can continue...
Right. Nobody can get a complete marriage right now. Right? That's what the Gemara is saying.
She's open season.
Right, she's open season, right. Okay, nobody can affect a full marriage until somebody has resolved the situation. All right. Chad Talmud. Now, the next Gemara here, nobody understood this Gemara until I came along. So, this really, I'll tell you, everybody goes crazy over this next Gemara, and it struck me, of course, I only was inspired by having seen the Gillian Ephraim and others, but it struck me, I think I have a new good shot in it. Chad Talmud Boik or Rabbi Zira. So Talmud asked for Rabbi Zira the following question. Nasan lo b'shachris. Now I should tell you what according to my understanding is the issue of this Gemara. What's problem makes the Gemara problematic. The Gemara doesn't reveal what issue it's discussing. But it's actually a fascinating issue the Gemara is about to discuss. There's halacha, if you marry a woman and you divorce her, and she goes and marries somebody else, and he divorces her, right? Can she go back to the first husband? No. What about here? She was married to the first guy, right? She was married to him, right? Along comes the second guy, Kiddushin, right? Along comes the second guy and marries her, right? Sure. That's the case we just had. No Nisuin. What do you mean? This case we just had. Afilu Kiddushin Me'atov Simba. Me'achshav Lachar Shloshim. That means within those 30 days, 100 people can come and do marriage with her, right? Right?
Marriage, not just Kiddushin.
No, Kiddushin, same thing. The Nisun is not material here. Where they can have beer with her is not our issue. We're not talking about beer. No beer necessary. Okay, so now the first guy married her, but now a second guy married her. Now let's say he divorces her. Can't you go back to the first husband? Second guy divorces her. Right? Number one married her. He didn't divorce her, obviously. Number two marries her. Number two divorces her. Can't you go back to number one? On the one hand, she was married to somebody in the interim. On the other hand, there was no first divorce. Right? Normally it's marriage, divorce, then marriage, divorce. Then you can't go back to number one. But what about here where it's marriage, divorce? Can't you go back to number one or not? What? After 30 days, right? Or after the second guy divorces her, whenever that is. So great. It's not after, it could be even during the 30 days.
During 30 days, I understand.
What?
Because the first marriage was really suspended.
But it took effect, it's a me'achshav.
I understand. There's it's a quasi-marital.
Right. And that's what the Gemara's question is. Okay.
So it's like your analogy with the bricks. So you just take off the second brick and the first brick is still...
Okay, but well, that's a question because that's exactly what's question. Maskim, that's a question. That's why it's a question. Okay, so it says he gave her, the second guy married her in the morning. He's going to divorce her that evening, right? That if can she go back to the first guy or not? Okay, so it says more Chad David. Now it seems like the Friend says the Talmud's name was obviously David. The Talmud asks the question. No, there's no Reb David anywhere on Shas, but I guess this Talmud's name was David. I don't know. So that's what he says. So, there's no of his name David, right? This is the only David, I think, at least that we've had in both Shas so far, right? Okay? There's no Reb Avram either. There are Reb Yitzchaks, no Reb Avram, and there are Reb Yaakov, so no Reb Avrams. Okay, it's interesting. Okay, Chad David Savar Meimar. What? Yes, okay. Chad David Savar Meimar, he wanted to say, Koshu Koine. Look, as long as the second guy was Koine, right? I'm sorry, so the first guy was Koine, right? He did make a Kinyan, even though it's only a quasi-Kinyan, but he made a Kinyan, the first guy, and then the second guy came and made another Kinyan, divorced her, so she shouldn't be able to go back to the first guy. That's what you understood that. Now, was my svar. Rabbi Zira retorts with your svar. Rabbi Zira with Rabbi Meir's svar. He says, Rabbi Zira, Lachar Shloshim Koine Kinyan Gomer. No. She can go back to the first guy. Because really the first guy's marriage was not considered to be a full-blown marriage until after the 30 days. So it said Lachar Shloshim. So you'd be right, he said, if the first guy's marriage was a full-blown marriage immediately. And then somehow she got out of that marriage and went to number 2. And then number 2 divorced her. She couldn't go back to number 1. But the only reason why number 2 can shtup Arayin here is because number 1 is not a complete marriage, right? And therefore, after number 2's marriage terminates, she can go back to number 1. Waiting in the wings, right? Oh, yeah, it's different gears. Pnei Moshe says, Chacham Echad Sheshmo David, yeah. Okay. Right. That's interesting. Okay. So anyway, so Avli Moisi Bar Sheni, so that's where I wait a minute. Avo, Moisi Bar Sheni, Kinyan Gomor. If the second guy made Taka complete Kinyan, Kairani Aleh Lo Yucha Bala Rishon, Asher Sholcho Lo Shuv Lekachto. Then the second guy cannot, then the first guy can't take it back. Now, obviously, what's the case? The case with that, how can the second guy make a Kinyan Gomer? What? Rabbi Zier's one is Mekel, though. Reb David wanted to be more Machmir. Reb David wanted to say that even if the first guy, Kushani, is not quite a Kinyan Gomer, nevertheless, right? Reb David says no. So only the second guy's quite a Kinyan Gomer. Now, obviously, say about what?
The state of a role imposing, that's a continuation.
Right, that's the issue of 0, right. Now, truth is, you have to analyze that a little bit also. How's the second guy can make a Kinyan Gomer? It's not trying to make Kinyan Gomer, right? The only way he can make a Kinyan Gomer is if the first guy divorced her. If the first guy divorced her during the 30, in other words, he said, Me'achshav ulachar shloshim, right? And the case has, this is just by past elimination, I assume this is the case he's talking about. I married a woman, Me'achshav ulachar shloshim. After and the assumption is that the Kiddushin builds all 30 days. After 2 days, I come to somebody saying, listen, I say, you know what, Sarah? I'm divorcing the 2 days, which I was married you. After 30 days, what happens after 30 days, I'll be married to you then. Okay? Now, whatever I did till now should be divorced, but we'll continue on after this. Right? Now, obviously, the reason he's doing this is only in order to allow her to get married to somebody else in the meantime. There's no other possible reason why he would do a meshugin thing like this. So whereas here is saying, if he did such a thing, if he divorced his part till now, even though he retained the lachar shloshim, and then she goes and marries the sheni, and gets divorced from the sheni, then she can't go back to the rishon. Okay? Once the rishon gave a get, even though the get was only for 2/30ths of a kiddushin, right? For the 2 days he was married to her, and not for the full-blown kiddushin, then if the second guy marries her and gives the get, she can't go back to the first guy. That Rabbi Zira is masking. Okay? So where it's only a quasi-kiddushin without a get, there, even though the second guy gave a get, she can go back to the first guy. Where it's a quasi-kiddushin plus a quasi-get, and then another full kiddushin with a full get, she can't go back to the first guy after the 30 days. Okay? That's what I think this line means. Alright? Now, as a result, the ramification of this is, Hayu Shneim Kohanim. What if both of them are Kohanim, both number 1 and number 2? Shneim Achim, or 2 brothers. And of course, the grusha of your brother is forbidden to you, right? If your brother divorces someone, you can't marry her, right? Shnei Asuri. They're both asur. Now, this is true even if the first guy never divorced. First guy said, Me'achshav ulachar shloshim. Number 2 comes in. Number 2 divorces her 10 days later. She can't go and marry if the number 1 is a Kohen, she can't go and marry number 1, right? Because she's a grusha now. At least, true, number 2 didn't have a full kiddush gerushin, but so much than reach a get, right? There is a good get patched here, right? And if it's also, if the first guy is a brother of the second guy, it's grusha sachiv. It's true, it's not a gerushin of a full marriage, but it's a grusha of a brother to a certain extent, so therefore she's forbidden to go to the first guy, right?
two brothers who do Kiddushin on the same woman.
Oh, we're getting there. Good thing you asked. Okay? Hayu shlosha achim. What if there are three brothers? Okay, no get now. Three brothers. V'kitrua shnayim mehem umesu. Number one is Mekadesher Milakana Lachar Shloshim. And number two was Mekadesher during those 30 days. And they deserve it. They both kick the bucket. Okay? So now, what about Yavama? Now, do you remember this case of Yavamas? This is actually a case of Esha Shnei Mason, which is Doraisa. We had a case of Esha Shnei Mason based on Zoku, Zika. But how, she was Zoku, her husband died, and then she fell to the second one. The second one did Maimer, or did Chalitza, or it only had Zika, and then the second one died, and there's Esha Shnei Mason. We had a case like that. But we never had a case of Esha Shnei Mason, which Mamish could be the Raisa that I recall. But this case is Esha Shnei Mason the Raisa. Right? Because she was married to both of them the Raisa. And they both died. So died at the time of Bechir, Eshes Meis, Achas Misya Bemes, Eshes Meis, I'm sorry. Eshes Meis, Misya Bemes, Eshes Shnei Meisim. She's wife of two Meisim, she can't undergo Yibum, right? Could buy Sechod, below Shnei Batim. So she can't undergo Yibum. Hay Shnei Achim B'Kedush name. What if there are two brothers? Now this case is also fascinating. I mean, this whole Gemara is fascinating. But what if there were two brothers? So Hay Shnei Achim. Kitrush name, they both been married, the same thing like before, right? But only one of them died. Right? It's not material which one right now. One of them died, okay? So one guy married her Me'achsha from Tehin after 30, and the next guy married her within the 30 days, right? Then one of them died. Ma'u Sheyeh Mutarbar, after the 30 days of absence. I don't know if you have to wait till after 30 days, but is the remaining brother allowed to remain married to her? You'd say no. Well, why not? No matter what, it should be permissible. Masha kana bakana, whatever he acquired as either number one or number two, he acquired. And the rest of it, he'll do yibum from his brother. Right? What's the problem? Right? There should be part wife and part yibum. Says Gemara, that's the problem. You knew it would be a problem, right? No, that's precisely the problem. He's not allowed to marry her. Rabbi Yisrael said, time of the Rabbi Yehuda Bar Posi. What's the logic of Rabbi Yehuda Bar Posi? So he says, so this is like multiple personality disorder. She became now as if she was two separate women. And two separate women, one of which is Tzoras Erva to the other one. Okay? There's an amazing concept. She becomes as if she was two women, and each half of her is a Tzora to the other part. What's going to explain? Says Gemara, any of them who's not completely married to the brother, Tzarakonin Sheba, Nido Mishum Erva. The part which is acquired is considered to be an erva. The erva poteres sarasa, and the erva paters the tzara. It's actually the part which is acquired to him right now is the erva, right? Because he has a stake in this woman, right? And so it's as if the other half of the woman is achos ishto, right? So at the same time, although it's not his sister, but it's like achos ishto. So part of it is his, and part of it's his brother's. Part which is his is like ishto. Part which is brother's is like achos ishto. So therefore, she's stuck in limbo. Right, she's chatzi. It was an amazing concept, okay? So Amrei Chino said, Shtake Gutavot. Yosem Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi. So Rabbi Yehuda ben Pazi said, good. Why did you fall him? Not because of the brother. Lachi v'asura, to the brother, she's usher. Loi muteres, to her, to him she's going to be muter. Now, I'm not sure exactly what he means by that, but I think what he means is that after the 30 days, right, there's going to be a problem. I forgot exactly. Oh no, what it means like this, Carbonate says very simple. He says that since the Shane, whoever it is, each one, during the, had both brothers survive, each brother would have answered on the other one, right? He says, he makes this for him even simpler. He says, each brother would have answered on the other one if both remained alive. Because each marriage took effect on this woman, right? So now you have two husbands, one wife, and that's an untenable situation. We don't allow that in Judaism, right? So therefore, the fact that one of them died doesn't resolve the situation. Because since during the lifetime, they each asked on each other, with one of us died, doesn't make her now suitable, because it's what during the lifetime was an Isser, and also to his brother, after death, so she now remains also to him as a result. Because he inherits the Isser which came from his brother.
Although, if in real Erev, that wouldn't be the case. Second brother...
That's right, but that's only because it's an evil situation. That's exactly the point. No, real Erev, there would be a case actually as well. You're thinking about Achasish, you're talking about two sisters, two brothers wouldn't have. Okay. So it says the market, the newish, that's the end of that. That's the end of the exciting stuff for tonight. Basko, just a few more minutes. 2 or 3 minutes. Basko, everybody down Marva, you right? Basko and Yisrael, Lotola B'Truma Baskoin, is there a meeting now anyway? Basko and Yisrael, Lotola B'Truma Baskoin, is the end of the mission said, Baskoin who's marrying Yisrael cannot eat Truma. And it says more, what's it talking about? Lochein says about Shafilu Hasheni Koin. If you have Baskoin, right? Who's the number one guy is Yisrael, right? He married her Lachar Shloshim. Number two guy, Amikam Akshav Lachar Shloshim, sorry. And number two guy is a Kohen. Okay? And she's also a Kohenes. So you might think, well, she's a Kohenes. The number two guy is a Kohen. Why can't she eat Truma? So says Amara, no, but since her number one guy who's waiting in the wings, Me'akshav Lachar Shloshim, is Yisrael, so therefore she's impeded upon from eating Truma.
Where is she living? She live in her father's house?
Well, she better be in her father's house. Yeah, there's no Nisuin taking place here. It's all Erusin.
Yes, no, I mean about
yeah, but her father's a Kohen. Even though her father's a Kohen, she still can't eat Truma. Okay? Because number one is the Yisrael. And he's waiting in the wings. Okay, let's just get down base. So somebody says to his wife, Hareh Mukudeshes Li Mukudesh Mi Amanas She'etein Loch Masayim Zuz Kiddushin, I give you $200. Hareh Mukudeshes, she's married, but Yetein Lo, and he has to give. Amanas She'etein Loch Mikan Bat Shloshim Yom, he says, I'm going to give you the next 30 days. Nasa Mito Shloshim Mukudeshes, if gives it in 30 days, she's a Mukudeshes, B'Mav, and if not, ain't a Mukudeshes. Amanas She'yesh Li Masayim Zuz, he makes the condition I have 200 Zuz. Hareh Mukudeshes, she's married if he has 200 zuz, even those 200 zuz are in Siberia. Amanasha Arech, he says, in addition, I show you 200 zuz, Mikudeshes, she's Mikudeshes, but Ve'arena, he has to be able to show it to her, right? If he's a money changer, he so says, look, in my till I have 200 zuz, ain't no Mikudeshes, not our marriage because it's not hers. Okay, let's just do a couple lines of Gemara. Somebody learned over there, He says, this is your get on the condition that you give me $200. She's a Mugureshes, and she has to give the money. She wasn't able to give her ex the money before he died. We say she can give to his surviving father or brother, and that fulfills the condition, and she's exempt for a chalitza, even the get is sustained. Kiddushin can say this is true by Kiddushin as well. Somebody says to a woman, you're married to me, and Kiddushin will give you 200 zuz, and he dies. If he dies, his brother or father can give on his behalf these kukol chitzim, and that completes the marriage, and now she's required to undergo chalitza or yibum, and we'll stop here for this evening. It's good Gemara tonight. Good Gemara.